In the meantime, there's another story developing about how these hundreds of teenagers were communicating online and were beating police to places like that shopping mall. Right now, there's an analysis underway as to figure out how this happened and how you can beat them to that spot. Catherine Herridge has more on that. She's live in Washington. And Catherine, what have you found out in these early hours?
Well, Bill, a review of the social media traffic in downtown Baltimore Monday night has found striking connections to the protests in Ferguson, Missouri, according to a leading data mining firm that shared its findings exclusively with Fox News. The firm Babel Street, that also does data analysis for government entities, found as many as 50 social media accounts in Baltimore that were also tied to the peak period of violence in Ferguson, Missouri. While the data is still being refined, it suggests the presence of professional protesters or anarchists taking advantage of Freddie Gray's death to incite more violence. The data set in Ferguson was collected before the verdict and up until 2 days after the violence subsided. And the data in Baltimore was collected through 6 p.m. Eastern Monday, 3 hours into the peak violence. The finding that as many as 50 social media accounts were tied to cities 825 miles apart was described to Fox News as surprising. And while there's always the potential to spoof these accounts to make it appear someone is in one place when they're really in another, Fox News is told that that cannot fully explain the numbers involved here, Bill.
Well, did this firm give you specific examples in that analysis, Catherine?
Well, they did. Some of these Twitter accounts don't call for outright violence, Bill, but at the very least, their messages are menacing and ominous. One account that also tracked a recent food worker union protest in New York City tweeted photos of Freddie Gray's funeral, writing, "The casket is closed, but the feeling in the room is that this is far from over." Another tweet, "Lord, we don't thank you for what happened, but we thank you for what's going to happen." Separately, in another sign of how social media is being used, ISIS has hijacked the Baltimore riots and hashtag Baltimore Purge to promote one of its upcoming videos out of its stronghold in Yemen, Bill.
Well, all fascinating stuff. Thank you, Catherine Herridge, working that story today in Washington.